It's nice to see some trollversity. It didn't feel like an after troll special, if you will. Kind of immerse you in this troll-averse.
Oh my, that is a word. Hi, I'm Teresa. Welcome to Cocoon Cast, where we deep dive into movies and discuss all things cinema.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. Today we will be discussing the new movie, Trolls Band Together.
Rebecca, let's get started.
Branch is finally having a life that matches where he's at emotionally, when one of his estranged brothers reaches out with a plea and a mission to save one of their own from a pair of fame-stealing succubi. Poppy, his girlfriend, queen of the Paw Trolls, and fan of his former band, decides to tag along with him on this introspective musical journey, along with some other familiar faces and some not so familiar. One thing's for sure, Branch will have to confront his boy band past, and maybe dance to it too.
Holy moly, let's talk about that. Rebecca, you love the production value of this movie.
I was pleasantly surprised how much more texture there was in this movie. I know it sounds silly, but little things like texture really can make or break an animated film for me. Plus, there was some experimental animation too. Some Yellow Submarine homage, anyone?
It had a lot going on. I would agree with that. And this is the third Trolls movie.
That's correct.
Did it feel like the third one to you?
It did. It didn't feel like an after troll special, if you will.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I liked a lot about it, and the music. Tell us more about the music. There was a lot happening.
If you're a fan of music at any point in the last 50 years, I'm sure you'll recognize at least 2 or 3 songs.
My girl's like candy, a candy treat. She knocks me right up off my feet. You got the right stuff, baby. You're all I ever wanted.
Oh yeah, there was what Weezer had a nice little beach scene, and you love Weezer.
And it's my least favorite Weezer song.
Oh, that's hard. It's just I don't know if you're ever going to hear the music the same way after hearing it in a Trolls movie. That's the best way I can say it. I'm singing along with it. I'm singing along and dancing with trolls.
That's par for the course with these movies, though. The music is a jukebox musical format, so you can't help but want to sing with at least one of the songs.
A lot of boy band references. I was cracking up.
Branch, we're out of sync. We've gone from boys to men, and now there's only one direction for us to go. The back streets.
I lost track of how many different hairstyles they had Justin Timberlake as a troll. And if you haven't seen the Trolls movie, Justin Timberlake is one of the main trolls.
Justin's arguably the deuteragonist of this movie, but he takes more of a spotlight role in this film, specifically.
I would agree with that, because the first one was introducing him. And it's interesting because this is the third one, and each one had a distinct personality. But I know you and I were talking about, I'm laughing, the trolls were growing, but emotionally and relationally, there was a continuation from each movie, although it just feels like each one could stand on its own.
And I remember you and I specifically talking about each character has their own arc in these movies. So there is character development, something I really like.
There was a comment, and I missed it, but you had said, try not to spoil it, but there was a big event, and if you've seen the previous Trolls movie, you'll know who these people are. But you were saying, and they had said 2 months ago, and it was in their world 2 happened, and 2 months later 3 happened, although it's been a few years.
It is kind of nice to see that there is some continuity. I know DreamWorks has put together a show following Trolls World Tour, but it's nice to see that follow through to the movies almost.
If you like the characters, I think you're going to like this movie. Because as you said, it wasn't only around one person. It was all of your favorite trolls, and Branch's family comes back that he hadn't made peace with, which I kind of laugh. That's kind of an adult thought, right? Have you made peace with your past?
No, you're afraid that singing with your brothers again after all these years will overwhelm you with emotions too powerful for you to handle. I agree with you. I don't think you can handle it, so I think you shouldn't do it.
I think I can handle singing a song.
Prove it! Prove it!
In your family, and he has to figure this one out. There's no getting around it.
It's not like his family has stayed the same and he's wandering into the environment as an adult. Branch has to deal with his family having changed themselves. which I thought was also another really adult thought.
I appreciated that, actually, and we were laughing about it. It's Trolls to Men in a boy band kind of way. But as you said, they left when Branch Justin Timberlake was just a wee little troll.
Bro, you're making baby Branch nervous.
I feel like I'm gonna barf and pass out and...
Pee your pants all at once?
How'd you know?
When he was a young troll and his brothers were teenagers. And now they're adults. One of them's an actual CPA, which I laugh. I don't think our CPA is a troll in disguise. However, apparently trolls can be anything. We just didn't know such things.
It's nice to see some trollversity.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Oh my, that is a word. In the story itself, did you like the story? I found it pretty amusing.
I thought for most part the story was pretty funny. There was a couple points I'm like, okay, you're just grasping for ideas.
Okay, either she just made that up or I have not been paying attention.
But I did, for the most part, enjoy the story.
We laughed at several parts. I know the Box is part of our Cocoon Cast team. He was laughing quite a bit.
You suck.
At this movie and enjoying it quite a bit. I enjoyed it. We went to a late night showing. There was a thought that, oh no, this is late and this movie's going to be a explosion of color and music.
Cloud Guy don't feel so good.
And what if I'm really tired? And I didn't feel that way at all. I was energized until the very end. And I found myself in my head going, ooh, maybe there's a 4 that's in the works.
That says something about that movie, though, that you weren't tired or drawn out. I know for you specifically, late night movies have that potential.
They have the strong potential. Rebecca, let's talk about the acting, if you will.
Voice acting for me, I think, is difficult, especially when you have pre-established voice actors or voices of people you know. I think this franchise does a good job of finding the line between established folks and not as well-known folks that can still sing their lines quite well.
That was true. The music, we had talked about some of the canned music or music that we would know. But when the Trolls were singing some of these hit songs that now I can't get out of my head in the troll voice, they were really good to me. They're not just Justin Timberlake, because I don't know, it feels like he was destined to be a troll or something. I'm like, wow, maybe in his last life he was actually a troll or something. It's funny. I don't know. I can't take it too seriously at this point. Anna Kendrick, who plays Poppy, who's a princess. I'm just like, if people have not seen the Trolls, they're like, Justin Timberlake is a troll. Anna is a wait. Yeah, it's hard to explain. It really is one of those movies. If you go see it, it makes a ton more sense.
It makes so much less sense when we're talking about it outside of the context of the movie. So I know the Box definitely has some B-roll prepared to kind of immerse you in this Trolliverse.
Getting the band back together!
This is our most fun mission yet.
Milkshakes to celebrate.
Gotta flex the drip.
We've gone from boys to men, and now there's only one direction for us to go.
It is a Trolliverse. I love that. That's like the great word. But I like the characters. There is a real sweetness to it. I know you and I were talking about. There's not a real cynical side to it. There's a lot of emotional depth for trolls.
Branch,
What? Oh, hey.
are you all right? You're smiling and crying at the same time. It kind of looks like it's hurting your face.
It does hurt my face.
I think one of the big things with toy franchises is it's so tempting to take them on the nose. Like, this is a franchise. It's for children. It's toys. We're meaning to sell toys. And I think the thing that makes this franchise successful to so many people is that looking at it as toys as tools to tell a story that needs to be told to people.
And if you think about kids, that's what kids do, right? We reviewed Barbie. I know pre-production we had done Mario and talked about the Mario movie. But that's what kids do. They take their toys and they tell stories. And now they're taking Trolls, which start off as little dolls. And to me, this movie honestly makes the Trolls look a little bit more attractive and a little bit more friendly and happy. But the toys, I mean, just the little ones with a woof hair. And I'm laughing at your hair, right? You, my friend, could be a troll.
Probably should be Poppy for Halloween after all.
After all that. I like that, though. I think that that's smart. But logically in my head, I think toys could not tell the story that was told in this movie.
Well, that's why we hire grown-ups for these things most of the time.
Exactly. The grown-ups, they go, I have a voice in my head, and I think my troll should sing this song.
Their troll must sound distinctly like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, pretty much now at this point, I think they all do. I laughed because Theodore Shapiro did a lot of the music outside of the common songs that we know. And I laughed because the box loves Devil Wears Prada. He did the music for that. He did the music for Blades of Glory, The Intern. He just a ton of movies. And so much of the cast came back. We were talking about the Trolls cast, but directors, producers, animation, it has a very fluid feel to it because they have worked on the previous two movies.
It's very cohesive. It doesn't feel like
That's the
another
word.
creative team picked up the reins and goes, thanks, these are our toys now.
Correct. And I worry about that because I do know that Sony is going to be taking on DreamWorks in the near future, and I hope that there's not an interruption of this franchise in a negative way.
I can understand that, especially now since you're so attached to it.
I am very attached to this movie. Do we have any questions from the box?
This movie is the third in the Trolls franchise. We've seen all three, but if someone hasn't seen all three, do you think they would enjoy it? Can they walk in and just see it? Would they be lost? Or should they watch another one first?
I think if you're going to watch this movie, you should definitely take the time to watch the first two. But if you have to pick one, just watch the first one. You still need a little bit of background information and understand the characters' losses and gains in order for this to resonate more emotionally for you.
I don't often think of a binge-a-thon with the Trolls, but this movie was 92 minutes, so relatively short. The other two, about the same length. So I'm thinking within an afternoon, you could literally watch all three Trolls movies. I do think that, I don't know that people would be lost, but I think the relationships, the depth of the relationships make so much more sense if you've seen the other two.
There's a couple jokes and a couple story beats, in fact, that really harken back to the first one. You start to realize the trauma and loss that Branch is experiencing.
Well, and Poppy, too. In some of the characters that are friends, they do talk a little bit about it. They say, oh, back in the day, this is what happened. This is why, the Trolls and, certain different people didn't get along. However, I agree with you. I think that there would be some loss. It was funnier to me. I enjoyed it more having seen the other two.
That makes sense, especially with characters like Tiny Diamond.
I like Tiny Diamond.
Is he your favorite?
But Tiny, you're only a month old.
Get up! Everybody treats me like I'm just a little baby. But I'm walking and I'm talking on the daily. I'm rolling dice, drinking coffee, getting wild. Daddy, I'm a man now, not a little child.
I do like the little worm that spits out cupcakes and
Mr.
dispels.
Dingles?
Yeah, Dr. Dingles, right?
Drama. Corn me, Dinkles.
Who dispenses therapy, which that's a whole other... I can't even begin to describe that one. If our cinema community has seen this movie, please tell us, what do you think about the worm that dispenses wisdom as a therapist and cupcakes? I would be curious to know. Do we have any other questions from the box?
As the third movie in the Trolls franchise, how would you rank it? Compare and contrast it to the other two movies.
I think this is my second favorite Trolls movie now. The second one is my top, and then it's the third one, and then it's the first one.
Oh, wow. The first one's... Oh, okay. I would say... Honestly, I think I like this one the best. I think it would be 3, 1, 2.
I'm also curious to see if the cinema community would comment below, share your rankings. What's your Trolls lineup?
Trolls aficionados... I would be curious. And not even just what the ranking is. I'd be curious the reasons behind the rankings.
That's always interesting for me, too. I like to see, hey, maybe there's something we're missing that you love about these movies.
Rebecca, it is that time of the show where I have 5 multicolored haired moths.
Well,
There's
that's
a
going to be
visual.
expensive hairdresser trip.
Correct. There's a visual. 1 to 5, 1 to 5. What do you think for Trolls band together today?
3 moths today.
3 moths. All right. Number 1 reason.
Number 1 reason. I think that this movie is a great insight into the landscapes of several characters. However, I feel like it just doesn't hit enough of the notes as much as the previous one did.
Who do you think would enjoy this movie?
I think kids that like music, kids that want to expand their inner world and talk about their emotions. I know it sounds cheesy, but there is an audience for kids that just want to engage just a bit more with their material.
It's a PG movie and it's very clean. It's very safe, I think, to take children to. However, as adults, we enjoyed it a lot.
You're definitely going to get a lot of humor out of the various boy band pokes.
Yes, and if you're older, you know most of those. I also liked, I know some kid movies have kind of the wink and nod.
There's a couple wink and nods.
A little, but not so much that they're really rough, and obviously you're an adult. But I would say...
I don't look like it.
Yeah, right. She looks younger than she is, folks. I would say it would be hard for me to take a younger kid to some movies because there's something innuendo-y or almost nasty. And I'm like, yuck, don't do that to the kids. This one was clean and funny. And as you said, a lot of family values, a lot of deep emotions that I think older or more mature kids could get, adults can get behind, and it was entertaining.
And when we say family values, we're talking about community coming together, supporting one another.
Absolutely. No, thank you. That's good. All right, I have 5 trolley moths. I would say it's a 4 moth movie for me.
Wow.
Yeah, surprise! I enjoyed a lot about this. I enjoyed the music. It was funny. I don't know if it needed to be longer for me to enjoy more of it. But when I walked away, I'm thinking I would see another one.
That's the sign of a good movie, too, is that you want to invest more time in these characters.
Exactly. And it's so for me, what's keeping it from being a 5 is there was one part where Branch reestablishes with his family, which I really liked. Then there was another character that established with their family as well. It felt a little tack on.
I can understand that.
And I wasn't too big of a fan of that. And there was one line that felt a little bit more out of place because it felt more mature from one of the characters. And it was like, I don't think I'd want to explain that to a child. But one out of the entire movie, it just felt a little distracting to me. And I would just think for me, that kept it from being a 5.
I thought you were going to say it was a little too reliant on some of the references. There's one reference in particular that you, I, and most of the active cinema community grown-ups would appreciate.
Yeah, I agree with that. However, I would say 4 and a Wing feels a bit high, but it's a pretty good movie in my estimation. Thanks for joining us. We're always excited to create experiences to bring our cinema community together.
Watch the notifications for our weekly show, Movies and More, where we will have more movie reviews, the latest Hollywood news, and commentary with snark, meant to amuse.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and to share our channel.
If you enjoyed this movie review, you might click the link below to check out our review of The Marvels. Or click the other link to watch last week's show, where we reviewed The Holdovers.
Remember, cinema community movies are better together. Thanks for watching. See you in the next review.